Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Welcome to EMACC podcast. Did you know we have a new name? It's not Podcast and Coffee anymore.
No, what is it?
It is called EMACC Chamber Chat. Meet our members.
Oh, love it.
Better, right?
Much better.
You know, coffee is just, it is podcast and coffee, but yeah. So
nice alliteration.
Chamber, I'm very into alliteration if you haven't noticed. Very into it. So today is Friday, October 22nd. Month is whizzing by. It's our special month this month, membership month.
That's right.
We have 10 new members that have joined us since October 1st. We're very excited about that.
Exciting. Yeah.
All of these members are taking advantage of 15 months for the price of 12, an extra podcast, a bunch, right? Do they get an extra podcast? I don't remember the offers anymore. Look it up. EMACC.org membership. Anyway. So we're here in a Shared Universe podcast studio. Got a special guest co-host today, which is Jane Tresnan from CubeSmart.
Good morning. Good morning.
And we have our guest is Steve from Yoga6, like a ding dong. I forgot your last name.
Robinson.
You know what?
Like
I grew up with a Steve Robinson in my whole.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what everybody says about your wife? Like Mrs. Robinson, a poor woman. I'm so sorry.
I think she likes it.
She likes it. Good. She feels a little.
Yeah, she's got her own song.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So anyway, and we've got Chris on the boards, which is always helpful because he laughs at all my dumb jokes. So we're really good to go. So yes, like I said, it's membership month. We had a great event on October 13th at Middletown Arts Center. It was our breakfast. We had 35 people join us that day, which, you know, that is our biggest number since
it was
since
a great
COVID.
event, and Mayor Perry spoke, and it was really wonderful. Great turnout.
There's a really funny picture of Mayor Perry and I on Instagram. And I swear it looks like, because it's a wooden floor and we're spaced so far apart, it looks like we're about ready to go into a dance.
Oh, yeah.
It's like really hysterical, which was funny because I think when Tony was speaking at that time, he was talking about doing breakdancing in the floor in the middle of the circle.
Yes, he was. That's right.
It's just really funny. But yeah, so that was a great event. And we're actually going to start having our business networking breakfasts at Middletown Arts Center starting in January.
Yeah. Great.
So we're really excited about that. And then we had our conversation and coffee yesterday morning, and we had our ENG's cornhole. I don't know that it was necessarily a tournament, but they played cornhole and had a really good time at the Sandbox at C Street, which was awesome. The night was gorgeous, gorgeous. And we had Anastasia from Yoga6 was there joining us that night, last night, and was really a fun night. It was just like so perfect to be local summer in New Jersey. You can't beat on the beach. I mean, it was just perfect. There was no wind off the water. It was just a nice roll up your jeans, have your feet in the sand again. And just, it was so nice to be there.
Great.
And then we also thank Brian Puzo from Wells Fargo because he was our first drink sponsor. So bought everybody their first round of drinks last night. So that was good. And
it was a charitable event.
Thanks, Jane.
Yep.
Yes, you're right. So it was a charity event, which I always forget. EMACC Next Generation. Mm-hmm. The young professionals, I don't know if you guys have run into this in your businesses or out there in the business world, but the young professionals are really conscientious of giving back to the community. So when ENG formed, they were like, everything we do is going to have a charity. So every event, they do an event once a quarter, and every event they do has a charity. And their charity this last night was EMACC's Education Foundation, which stemmed from EMACC, but is its own separate entity, charity 501c3. And we had one of the board members is also a recipient of one of the scholarships. So EMACC's Education Foundation provides scholarships for the non-traditional student. So if you are over the age of 25, I believe, and decide to go back to school, there's $2,000 scholarships available to help you with those costs.
Wonderful foundation.
And then they also do grants one of the other scholarships, I believe, is if you're a junior or senior. And there's something, I missed that part when I always forget that rule because that's new. And then they do a grant, which is, they'll pay 50% up to $2,000 for a certification. So like if you go to ACI Dental or you just, go to some kind of vocational school, they will help you with that too. So it's a great opportunity. You can see more at emacc.org of scholarships and find out more about them. So we collected some money last night for them, and we thank our donors, and you can always donate to the Scholarship Foundation by going to their page on our website as well.
Oh, good. And
So,
one more event next week.
One more event
right?
next
Which
week,
we have to
Jane.
mention. Because...
Talk about it, Jane. My voice is tired.
I'm trying to think. Okay. Let's see. We have our business after hours on, I believe it's Tuesday night.
Tuesday,
and that
the
is the 26th. And it's going to be held at Nissan in Shrewsbury.
Nissan City of Red Bank.
Red Bank. Gosh. Yep. Okay. And it's on Shrewsbury Ave, though?
It is Newman Springs. Wait. Yeah, Newman Springs Avenue is the one that goes straight down from the Parkway, right? Or is that Shrewsbury Avenue?
No, that's Newman
Springs.
Yep. Newman Springs.
Newman Springs Road, right there. It's been there for a while, but it's under new ownership, and these owners are just amazing. They have been they've sponsored 2 of our events. They're pulling out the cars and allowing us to use the showroom.
Yeah,
they've just
venue.
been really supportive of the chamber, which has been awesome. So we're happy to be able to support them and bring some people to see their venue and meet their family, because it's a very nice family-owned business.
Great.
So, and we have Good Vibe Nutrition, which is one of our members, also providing some of the snacks and beverages for us. And we will have other snacks and beverages available. And it is the last opportunity to take advantage of the membership month specials.
Yes.
And for those of you who are listening who are already members, there's discounts and options available to you as well. So please check us out. So
all good.
All that. And there's so much more going on, but nobody wants to hear it. So let's talk to Steve.
let's get
down to business
hear
and
about
talk
Yoga
to Steve.
6,
So this is Steve Robinson from Yoga6, one of our new members. But you've been a member for a while, since the
summer.
Joined
in the summer, I think.
That's a while to me, you know. You joined in the summer. Your first event you came to was our Christmas in July party.
Yes, which was really fun.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Yoga6 and why 6 in yoga.
Yes. So Yoga6 is part of a bigger group called Exponential. So if you've heard of Club Pilates, Pure Bar, Cycle Bar, etc., they have about, I think, 11 or 12 different brands, maybe even 13 now. And Yoga6 is one of the newer-ish ones from a couple of years ago, mostly on the West Coast, but has been moving eastward, as well as down south, Florida, etc. So Yoga6 is all vinyasa-based yoga. We have 6 different class types. So it's called Yoga6. And it ranges.
Vinyasa is the really calming one, right?
It's all flow and it's all
I like the vinyasa
movement.
That I can handle.
Me too. I can handle flow.
Yeah. Well, but some of them are quite intense.
Yes,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah. So there's what the whole idea too is it's really yoga for everybody, yoga for everyone. And even for me, like a year and a half ago, if you'd said, hey, Steve, you're going to be somebody helping run a yoga studio, I've been like, yeah, right. But I've really got into the yoga. And my partner, Tom, really has gone into it. Last time I checked, he had done over like 100 yoga classes since we started. So he's really been diving into it personally. I try when I can too. Yeah. But so there's literally a class called Yoga 101. So it's for folks like me who are like, wow, this could be a little intimidating, or I don't know if I want to do this in front of other people, or I don't understand the moves or the language. And it's a great way to get introduced to the whole thing. And all of the classes have this comfortable entry level kind of capability. So it's all about like helping people understand the moves and where you're going to go next. It avoids a lot of complicated, language and Sanskrit and that kind of thing. It's just more about, hey, we're going to guide you through the whole experience.
Guided yoga is very good for me. That's all I've ever done. I need help.
Yes, I would need it too. Yeah.
Yes.
So and it's an excellent yoga instruction module class. We actually have a class coming up next week. I have, I think, 9 or 10 different teachers lined up for 2.5 days of training.
Wow, awesome!
Next week. But to get the more so as you go through the different classes, you go from restore and slow flow, which are obviously more about stretching. A lot of people who do like CrossFit or F45 or other bigger stuff, then they might want to come to like a restore class once or twice a week to kind of get stretched back out again. And then you start getting into the power, which is pretty intense all throughout. Sculpt and flow, where you're actually using some weights for part of it. And then we have one pure true hot yoga class as well. And the hot yoga class is the only one that's kind of a set sequence for the whole class. The others have a little bit of fluidity or a little bit of flexibility in how they go. The teachers really try to make sure they understand who's in the room, how much how much practice have you had before, what are you looking for today. So they have some flexibility to kind of adjust the class that day, or each hour really, to the group in the room.
That's good. My next door neighbor loves hot yoga. I cannot, I don't like to be hot. I don't know that I like hot yoga.
Well, you don't have to do that one.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sitting there going, I keep thinking maybe that's like kind of, I think in the back of my mind is one of my goals. Like when and if I decide to ever start moving my body like a normal human would do, to eventually work up to where I can just do that in the heat and be comfortable and like it.
I've heard that people really like it when they, and I've thought about trying it, but I think I better do the 101 and work up to it. So, but it sounds great.
There are people who have come up to us and said, "Oh, so you really have hot yoga?" I'm like, "Yeah, we really do." And the way the studio room is designed, we can literally heat up the room in like 10 minutes to the right temperature. And then it has a humidification system as well. And this is something that was interesting even before COVID started. They'd already built in like UV light system as well as a full air circulation system. And this was all already in place as a design before COVID started. So that's really nice to have, some level of comfort, like the studio, and of course we do all the cleaning and all the stuff in between classes and everything. There's usually about a half hour between each class.
So now you are, your physical location is not open yet.
No, but really soon. So
tell us.
Yes.
Go ahead. Tell us. You want to say the date, or you want to commit to the date on the podcast or not?
We're shooting towards December 2nd.
Awesome.
We have an excellent construction crew. They're actually really fun. Ken and Jack, local guys, and they've already built a couple of other yoga studios. One's in Norwood that just opened up under a different owner. And then there's one other Yoga6 Studio open down in Marlton. And so I think we'll be number 3 in the state.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we have plans to actually do 5 more in Monmouth County. So we will actually be building out 6 studios in total. We're currently already looking at some spots in Middletown, Ocean, down near Seagirt Wall, and then probably over towards Freehold and maybe here somewhere in Homedale, something like that.
Yeah.
But the Shrewsbury location is in the Shrewsbury Plaza, right near the Panera. Marshalls.
Know exactly where it is. Yep.
Right across from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
So for people who've been here a while, it's in what space? The old
My Gym
old
space,
My Gym
which
space.
If you talk to any of the parents in town, they're like, "Oh, I've been there for
all the time.
Birthday parties. We did it all. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the woman who ran it, she'd been there for something like 20
It was
years.
a long time.
Super impressive. It's just so sad. I think COVID kind of just made it too hard.
But it's good for you because now you're going to bring something different there. The space is going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, we love the space.
Plenty of parking.
Yeah, so I was going to say parking is usually the issue in these towns, and so
we did look across the street because we were excited about being near the Trader Joe's.
Sure.
But we found this other spot, and
much better choice on
plenty of parking, and you still have everything within 100 yards of what you need to get to as well. So ShopRite is right over the other end of the parking lot, and Marshalls, and there's a couple other fitness facilities there as well, which we see as complementary. We feel like yoga can go along with with the other stuff.
Yoga goes very well with shopping at Home Goods.
Yeah.
I'm just, and then possibly lunch at Panera. And, you could really spend your whole day there. Our member, Staples across the street is a member of EMACC. So you could, go over to Staples, Bubba Coos. You could definitely have lunch at Bubba Coos. They make a great taco salad. They're members of EMACC. So,
I believe I've been there at least once.
Yes,
pretty good.
It is good, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
My daughter worked there this summer, but it was very good.
Yeah.
So now tell me about your the hours of the classes too, because I'm always looking for something that's either kind of earlier in the morning or after work or what.
Yeah, so we'll be open all day. So it's 6 a.m. start.
Oh wow,
every day, 7 days a week.
Do you have shower facilities there?
No.
Okay.
So
I don't know if those are really allowed since COVID anyway. So.
I don't know if that was really the consideration. It's just it's intended to be, hey, you're going to come in, you're going to do your thing, and most people just kind of leave. I don't, you know,
I'll just
we
go to
have
work
we
smelly
have
then.
that debate. Do people want showers? And we're kind of like, not sure everyone really wants to, you know, shower there. So we
Right.
didn't, you know, and it's not part of the Yoga6 model. So we just didn't
Mhm.
do it. But so classes start as early as 6 a.m.
Mhm.
Classes throughout the whole day during the week will be open as late as 8 or 9 o'clock at
Oh,
night.
wonderful.
And we will be open on weekends too. My understanding is most of the time you end around 1 or 2 in the afternoon on Saturday and
Yeah.
Sunday.
Mhm.
I think most people kind of want to get to their own family
Yeah,
stuff later in the day. But with the 6 different class types that we have, there'll be a set schedule, and there will be, you know, everyone should be able to find what works for them, both schedule wise and class wise. So it should be super flexible and easy to figure out what works for everyone's own schedule.
I'm going to do a quick shout out to Courtney Alessi from Wells Fargo, one of our members of one of the co-chairs of our E&G committee. She's joining us today. Hi, Courtney. Thanks for joining.
Morning, Courtney.
So I asked about the showers because I like to, you know, I keep thinking that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, shower and go to the office. So anyone who wants to come to the EMACC office after you guys open, just be prepared and wear a clothespin on your nose, because I may just go to the office smelly.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a personal thing, probably TMI, but you know, I'm just going to put it out there so everybody's well aware.
Showering is a good thing. People,
the
rest of us appreciate it.
I don't know. I often like, there's the decision, shower, sleep, sleep usually wins. So, you know, you guys have done some interesting partnering in advertising your business, getting out and doing so. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's an awesome model for any business at any time, open or not, to find other businesses in the area that you can have common clients, common things to share. So tell us a little bit about some of the ones you've done.
Oh, we've been super lucky to find so many great partners in the area. So we've done a couple of sessions with the Orange Theory directly across the road, or directly across the parking lot from us. We have one tomorrow with Zephyr, having an open house in our same parking lot. Tomorrow I'm also going to be at the Trick or Trunk at the orthopedics. What is it? Snow. I should look it up, but it's, we'll be in Homedale tomorrow for that. So we actually have 3 different events tomorrow.
Yeah, it's great.
We've partnered with Delitza, who owns DNC Fitness and Lifestyle.
So what I'd like to point out is, as you're mentioning this, Orange Theory is in Middletown, just joined our chamber yesterday.
Great.
Delitza is new within the last month or two, joining our chamber from DNC. So that is, I love that it's our chamber partners.
Yeah.
You did something with Good Vibe Nutrition.
Yep. Yep.
So
they don't see you as competition, though. The two of you,
no.
You're offering it kind of a different
the
product.
Orange Theory, we kind of did a combo. So we had Camille, who's one of our instructors. She's awesome. Started out with sort of a yoga warm up, and then they went into an Orange Theory session, and then at the end did a warm down with yoga. And I was talking with one of our members, and she's like, that kicked my butt. She goes, she's like, I couldn't walk for the next day. She goes, but it was fantastic.
So you already have sold memberships. You already have members to your Yoga6.
Yep. We're doing really well on getting members signed up. We have different discounts happening, throughout. We're in a very good discount phase right now. It's 25% or 30% off lifetime. So if you join, you're locked in at that rate for forever and ever. But that's only going to last about 2 or 3.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is it like a yearly contract?
Oh no, there's no. It's month to month.
Month to month.
There's no obligation, no contract. If you need to even pause your membership, there's some options for that too, for people who might go away in the winter, things like that.
Right.
So the other, we don't see the other fitness area groups as really competitive. We think it's complementary. So
sounds it.
So we're doing as much as we can with all the other gym and fitness type groups in the area. Delitz has been great. So we have a class tomorrow. I think there's only 2 spots left in the class tomorrow.
Now, where are you holding the class?
It's at the DNC Lifestyle.
Wow.
So she's just above the Grove.
Yes.
And really awesome facility there. We're attending Zephyr's open house tomorrow as well. And then I'll be at the Trick or Trunk here in Homedale as well.
So if somebody wanted to sign up for one of your classes, how do they do that now?
It's super easy. You can just find us, Google us. It's yoga6.com/Shrewsbury. You just click the membership button. You just enter your information, and you're paying for 1 month free up front. And then you're not going to get charged again until 1 month after we're open. So essentially either late December or January. So you're just paying now for your first class. But like you said, we've been hosting free complimentary classes all summer. So we were in Shrewsbury Manson Park every Wednesday and every other Saturday. We also partnered with Lennar just over the border in Tinton Falls. It's a new housing development there. And they have a cool little park area in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
So we've been doing some classes there. But with the weather change and the
people are coming
sunlight,
inside. Yeah.
So Delisa was nice enough to let us use her spot. So we have classes. So and if you're looking for when the classes are, you can just download the Yoga6 app on your phone, both Android and Apple. And at the bottom, once you log in, you can just click classes, and you can just click a button to sign yourself up.
Yeah, awesome.
That's awesome. I think failure on my part, did not realize you were already operating so much. I knew you were doing the partnerships. I didn't realize how much you were offering already until the place opened, which is just amazing. Yeah,
we wanted the members to feel like they had some way of getting some experience, and of course, it's for people who want to try it too.
Sure.
So somebody might say, "Well, I'm not quite sure what it's like," and maybe it's not exactly the full experience we want it to be. Once you're in the studio, once you're in the studio room, again, like it's got all the UV light and all the other air filtering and stuff like that, but there's a light show, so there's audio visual system in the studio. It's really, if you haven't seen the pictures on for other studios online or on Instagram, whatever, it's really nice, like the way they design it. And we're most of the way through our own build out right now.
I think what's wonderful, what you've done is you've almost built a customer base prior to opening versus having like a hard opening and then being like, okay, now we got to market and get people in here. You've done all this kind of pre-marketing and as I said, kind of build a customer base that you're going to be ready to go.
Yes,
which is awesome.
That's the thing. Figuring out construction in COVID times is a little challenging. The town has been phenomenal working with us. So it just took us a while to figure out how to get to the starting point.
Sure.
And then once we got to the starting point, the town was really supportive.
Yeah.
We found the right people to help support the construction part of it. We have all the right partners, local vendors and stuff.
Shall we do a shout out to Mayor Anderson, also a member of the chamber? Mayor Anderson of Shrewsbury. Shout out to him. And also good morning to Allison and John Forte. So Allison's a member.
Allison and John,
Allison is a member of the chamber as well, an event planner. So very cool. Yeah.
So we're really excited. So we're shooting for December 2nd as our what we call our soft open. We're going to have a series of trial classes. People can come and check it out and see what it's like. And then there's, we have a small retail area in the front as well. So we have all really cool brands, Lululemon, and
wonderful,
and all the stuff that everyone really wants.
Yeah.
Are
you going to have men and women? Like, are you? Because
we might allow a few men in. Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't mean into the classes. I meant your retail.
Oh, Lululemon has men.
I know it does, which is what triggered my thought.
Yeah.
But, like a lot of times you'll go in and you really don't, like many of the ones I've been into do not really focus necessarily as much on men. Although I have to say that I'm learning that men are becoming much more into the yoga than when it first, years ago. Well, when it first started was way back when, but
no, I mean, it's definitely more women than men generally. And that's true for the instructors as well. We're hoping to get 1 or 2 male instructors. And we've found a couple that we think are going to be great. But as for the retail, I would assume the majority of the stuff in the retail area is women's clothing. But there's men's shorts, there's shirts.
Right.
I actually just ordered yesterday a whole bunch of new swag for myself.
Oh, swag for yourself, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
So they
everybody loves some good swag.
Yeah. So more when long sleeve shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and stuff like that. The selection is is broad. Like there's quite a lot of good brands that are there.
Nice.
And then as a member, you get a discount too. So
all right. So now I have an interesting question.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that you did not do yoga prior to this.
I did not.
This is a new thing for you. So how did you decide to make this your new, I'm assuming this isn't your first career.
No, it's not.
So, you know, and that I don't want anybody to think I'm judging based on the conversation that you have college age children.
Yes.
I assumed you'd worked prior to this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how was, talk about the evolution of deciding to make this different change.
Yeah. So it's four of us running this studio or the franchise. It's myself, my wife, Dana, my friend Tom, and his wife Tracy, and we've all been friends since our kids met in nursery school, and that's quite a while ago now.
Right.
And you know, we coached together and, you know, hung out together, and it's, you know, go to the beach together, stuff like that. And a few years ago, Tom just had this crazy, he goes, you know, we were talking about like, what would you want to do next? You know, we both had our set career at the time. Like, what would we want to do next? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, it's like, I've been looking into franchises.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 years ago, we started actively looking. So we found a doggy daycare, eyelash extensions, massage services. But some of the stuff we just looked at back then, just, I don't know, it just didn't take, you know, we just didn't, it wasn't quite hitting what we thought we would like to do. So we put it on the back burner for a bit. And then we found a franchise broker who pointed us towards Yoga6. And at the time we were looking at another massage, what they call a studio, like a health and the studio complex. But the Yoga6, for a couple of different reasons, just really kind of latched on to first of all, the corporate folks at Yoga6 are so fun and really great to work with. They have super strong support structure, tons of material, tons of training. If you have any questions or help, you can literally call or text or message any of them, and they'll get back to you really quickly. They have, you know, dedicated marketing, sales, construction, real estate. I mean, it's really well laid out. So the model itself just really seemed to be the most well-defined of all the ones that we explored.
Just huge when you're doing something, especially something you don't have a background in.
That's what you're paying a franchise fee for, right? You want to have that as a somewhat out of the box model.
Sure.
And to be blunt, I think some of the other ones we looked at just didn't quite have all that well spelled out. And this really just made it seem like, hey, this seems much more put together. So that was, you know, so we got excited about that. And then we started really thinking, well, it's yoga. Like, none of us have really been yoga
So
people
Tracy
before.
and Dana weren't yoga people either.
Tracy, I believe, had some experience, but I would guarantee the rest of us did not. But then once we really started getting into it, it's just like, it's a good feeling kind of thing to be doing.
Yeah.
And then we're thinking like, and it allows us to kind of feel like we're part of the community. You know, like we said, we've been hosting and sponsoring a lot of other charity activities. We did Rocktober Feast a couple of weeks ago, which was in support of a Need We Feed, which is food for veterans, etc. So it just feels like, hey, this is something where we could be part of Monmouth County. Tom grew up in Middletown, so, you know, he has that base there. Dana and I have a house in Seagirt, which we're planning to move to full-time soon. So we just felt like Monmouth County was the right place to be. And
we're very happy you feel that way.
Yeah. Thrilled.
Sure,
for a lot of reasons, but
so it just we sort of found it, and then once we found it, we fell in love with it, and it's just been really.
Did they help you find the location?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they have
Wow.
real estate people. They
Awesome.
have building construction advisors. I mean, they have a full
Jane,
suite.
your part, one of your places that your CubeSmart, is that a franchise?
No, that is not.
Just completely different.
I'm the owner of the business, and then CubeSmart is just my third-party management company.
Okay.
So they don't have any ownership, or it's not a franchise.
Yeah, I listened to
people wonder about that. You know,
I listened to your podcast from when I think it was the summer.
During COVID. Yeah.
So that was a great story, by the way, to hear about how you came into that.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah, really great story.
Yeah.
So. Good for you.
But I understand the same thing. I love being part of the community, and the first thing I did was reached out to Jen and to get involved.
Yeah.
And we did like the street fairs, and we did the Guinness Fest and whatever, you know, just to kind of get the word out there that we're here, and it's a good feeling.
And being part of the chamber has been really fun, and the event that you guys hosted this summer was hysterically
crazy
funny.
Christmas in July, in which Santa Claus appeared. We had Christmas trees, we had lights, we had
Yes, it was fun.
We tend to do. tend to do stuff out of the box around
Yeah.
us too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was
So.
super fun.
So that's a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. We've, learned a lot along the way. But like I said, the way Yoga6 provides the support and the structure is amazing. Even the teaching instruction. So all the teachers, they all have to be certified already. So there's typical 200-hour certification from Yoga Alliance or other similar organizations. Some of our teachers have done an additional 300-hour certification. And we asked them to go through another 2.5 days of kind of a quick, intense version of our training, and they will get certified in each of the 6 classes.
Did you have any trouble finding instructors? I mean, everybody's struggling.
Everybody's
No.
struggling to find people. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you, that's been super amazing, is that, as far as getting yoga instructors, we have a lot of great candidates. Like I said, I have 9 or 10 people lined up next
Yeah,
weekend
that's
for our first real full training session. We are looking for what we call wellness advisors, so the people who will help run the studio, keep things going day to day. So we're hoping
EMACC has job opportunity. You can post your job postings on our website
I will
at
be
no
doing
charge.
that later today.
For sure.
Call if you have trouble,
Yeah.
or email, because
Yep.
we're working a bit remote off and on today. So,
Okay.
but we'll help you with it. It's
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking for folks to help manage and run the studio during the day, and we will be expanding. So at some point we're hoping to get another one open, perhaps in Ocean or Middletown. So we'll be looking for other studio managers, other wellness advisors, and of course more yoga instructors. But part of the concept, we like the idea, part of the reason we committed to doing 6 of them is we wanted it to not just be one and done. We want, once people get to know us, and we can be anywhere all over Monmouth County. And maybe you live down near Seagirt and there's a studio there, but you work up near Red Bank, and then you can go to Shrewsbury. So you'll be able to go to all the studios, depending on where you live or work. And then we thought for the employees, like, let's try to see if we can make it have more of a career.
That's what I was
Sure.
just going to
And you
say.
can
It
almost
really
have a
sounds like you're
managers,
giving,
and then a district manager, or
Yeah.
something like that. Someone who's
Absolutely.
overseeing those other managers or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, so we're
making it-
and or people having flexibility to teach at more than one
Sure.
studio, so people can fill their schedule as they see fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking for for energetic people who and ultimately hopefully feel like, hey, if you want, there can be a little bit of a career path here.
Sure.
for you
which
as well.
is awesome, because you started out by saying you wanted to be in the community and provide to the community, but you're providing to the community at large as well as the business community by offering so many employment opportunities and growth and building over time. And that's exactly what we need around here. So
How long did it take you, like the timeline from start to finish, in terms of
Longer than we would have liked.
Yeah, I guess all the
but it's a
approvals
learning,
and
it's a
all of
learning curve, COVID stuff.
Sure.
To be honest, and this was maybe a little naive. I mean, we originally wanted to be open last May or June, but then you have to figure out things through construction and different permitting and stuff like that. But again, the town has been great in helping us through that. Once we figured out what we had to do, so the actual construction of the facility is only about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So
8 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're about halfway, or a little more than halfway through.
Wonderful.
So we think it'll kind of be wrapping up right around Thanksgiving, and then so we're shooting for December 2nd as the actual opening.
I believe when that date gets announced, we'll be helping with ribbon cutting and grand openings. So yes, I think we're excited about that.
We're going to do a bigger grand opening, probably, I think it's January 6th. So we're kind of get our feet wet. I'll help make sure we understand how things are going. But there will be some special events in the month of December to kind of help promote everything and get things going. And then we're going to have the more official ribbon cutting type activity probably early January. And hopefully that coincides with everyone's, New Year's resolutions and things like that.
Yes.
So,
Perfect timing.
yeah. So we have a lot of things planned. We're continuing to look for partners to sponsor or work with, support open houses, support the EMACC, so anything we can do to get the word out. And again, feel like we're, making some commitment and contribution to the community and all the different charitable organizations too. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
So another interesting question. So what is the like you take it a couple different directions. Things you've learned, because you said it's been a huge learning curve. The most surprising, the most valuable, and the one that you would hit your head going, why didn't I know that to begin with?
Yeah. Well, so you're trying to learn about managing a franchise type business, and you're trying to then within that real estate, commercial real estate. I'm not a commercial real estate expert. I knew nothing, right? So I ran my own business before, but finding space at that time was not really that big of a deal. So this is when you're like, now you're looking for like retail space. It has to be in a certain place with certain demographics. And again, Yoga6 gives us all of those demographic type information to help us figure out where the right place is to locate. So the real estate part was interesting. The way in which you have to go through a letter of intent and then get the lawyers involved and go through lease negotiation. All of that actually took much longer than I would have thought, but I get it, because in the end, there's a lot of, back and forth between yourself and the lawyer and, the landlord, and you just want to make sure, everyone's getting what they want. The landlord wants what they want, and that's fair too. Right.
Right.
And
because it's their business.
right.
So, yeah.
So, but we're committing to long-term leases. This is not like a 1, 2, 3 year. This is a 10-year commitment. So, you have to kind of make sure you're getting what you really need.
Right.
And of course, the landlord wants it to be economic for them.
Sure.
As well. So we figured that out. The construction part has actually been quite smooth. And that part, we got lucky to find a couple of guys who'd build a few other studios, and they happened to be available right when we needed them. So once we got through the initial town process of getting the permitting and variances and stuff approved, then it was off to the races. And Yoga6 has everything lined up as far as where do you get your lighting from, where you're going to get what they call the millwork and the signage and everything. So all of that,
their branding.
Yes,
and
it's a well laid out plan. Now, once you know what your start date is, then you just sort of start to follow the plan. Thank God there's 4 of us, right? There's myself, Dana, and Tom, and Tracy. We keep saying to ourselves, there are people doing this by themselves, and there's 4 of us. So thankfully we can figure it out. Tom and Tracy have become like social media gurus. We have stuff out on our Instagram and Facebook sites every day. I think they're updating something new and different, partnering, trying to promote other partners that we're working with. My wife has been learning HR and payroll and other training stuff.
Remind me to let you know some great sources for that.
Okay, great.
It's like there's the State Chamber of Commerce provides great HR information. There's a couple of things like that. So
so that's learning HR. What can or can't you do, and what can you do in New Jersey versus federal?
Yeah.
So the HR stuff, I've been through some of that before. I ran my own consulting firm for some time. So that helped having some of that experience. And then Tracy used to work in retail. She worked for Ralph Lauren and other big brands. So she's got the whole retail part of it really well spelled out.
That's great.
For us.
Great.
So what's Tom bringing? You haven't said anything about what Tom brings to the table, other than his social media. But I'm not good.
Well, he's become Mr. He and Tracy have become the social media gurus. But Tom has a strong finance background. He does. He works in wholesale for a finance company, and so between his experience around that and sales, he has a lot of strong sales experience. I ran a small consulting firm for some time, which is, you had to wear a lot of hats for that. Dana, way back in the day, was a paralegal, and she also worked for a college, Boston College, working for the dean of students there.
Wait a minute. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
Because my sister works for the dean of students at Boston College.
Well, she was in the Graduate School of Nursing, so it was a subset of the total college.
Okay, we're going to have an offline because I don't want to embarrass Dana's age or my sister's age, but we're going to have a little conversation because wouldn't that be too funny if my sister...
This was in the 90s, so...
Yeah, well, okay, so my sister's first name, if Dana's listening today, my sister's first name is Jada.
Okay.
You don't know a lot of Jadas.
No, we'll figure that one out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
She loved that job. That was...
Yeah. No, my wife loved working there. Yeah. She had a great boss, and she at the time she was literally able to walk to work. We lived right in that part of Boston where everyone lived.
Nice.
Once you're a young professional, everyone lives in Brookline or Brighton.
Yeah,
that's where we were, of course. So.
And the tea. I grew up in New Hampshire, so so Boston was like funny story. Want to hear a funny story? Totally
Sure.
not on you, but this is about chat. So,
Right.
so I grew up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And so my dad, when he would work because he worked in Boston, because everybody did,
Yeah.
so days off, my friends and I would go into the city with dad.
Yeah.
And now I know it's called town, but we would go into Boston with my dad, spend the day, and then he'd bring us home. So I majored in fashion merchandising because I wanted to be a seller to the buyers.
Yeah.
So I wanted to work on a designer floor in New York City. 1988, April, I'm graduating in May. I go to New York City for the first time.
Yeah.
Scared the living daylights out of me. So nothing like Boston. Yeah, I never ended up doing what I thought I was going to do. Let's just put it that way. So different New York City from Boston.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's really it's funny that you would. Sorry. So total sidetrack.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, well, I'm a New England guy too.
Oh, you are? Where are you
Yes.
from?
I was born in South Shore.
Okay.
Below Boston, and my brother still lives up there. My sister still lives up there.
Oh, nice.
So my sister lives in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and I have my Sugarloaf Mountain
Yep,
shirt
yep.
on right here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I didn't even look at that when you
Yeah.
were wearing it. I just assumed it was Yoga6, so I didn't look
No.
at what it actually was.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a New England guy, which gets interesting sometimes being married to a Jersey girl
Oh, right.
and
Yeah.
living here now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Been here 15 plus years, and my wife keeps telling me I have to start to say that I'm from New Jersey, but
Right.
No,
I haven't
31.
been able to say it yet.
I've been here 31.
Okay.
31 years I've been here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, our combined experience is just kind of, it's like a perfect storm.
wonderful,
It's
yeah.
like we all have our own
Different
experiences. It helps
Yeah.
us figure out how we're going to manage and run through the business. And we've divvied things up, and, we get together at least weekly to kind of like hash everything out.
And everybody's getting along together.
yeah.
I always wonder about that.
Yeah, well, we
businesses
said
or
from the
whatever.
get go we have to make sure the friendship lasts.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
because we've known each other.
Did
a
you
long
do
time.
the whole partnership agreement thing? Like,
Oh,
did
yeah.
you go the whole legal route? Because
Yep.
that's what I've heard is like one of the biggest mistakes
Yes.
of friends is, really
No,
not setting the rules ahead of time, providing the outs,
Yep.
before
Yes.
it gets to a bad spot.
We did all of that, and I think we took quite a while to do it just to really make sure it was going to be what we needed it to be.
Mhm.
So we've done all that. We have a formal C corp as well as an LLC. So we have all the legal support. And then there's other things we have outsourced. So we have our advertising group doing all of our social advertising. We have a group doing our bookkeeping. So there's certain, having run my own consulting business before, there's certain things you just realize like I shouldn't be
can't be
doing
doing
that.
Right.
You
You
leave it to
can't
the
do-
professionals, or
Yeah.
leave it to, not necessarily, but the
Yeah.
people who that's their
Yeah.
business.
Yes.
Yeah, find the people smarter than you
Yes,
who are
that-
better
yes.
at it.
They
And-
always
yeah.
say the
Believe
best
me.
leader is surrounded by the best people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
truly, if you you can't do something,
Yep.
spending the money to have the people do it for you
Exactly.
Yeah.
that know what they're doing is really your money well spent, because
Yeah.
otherwise you're going to end up doing something that's not the most beneficial for your
Right.
business.
Right.
Yep. So so it's been fun, and we're gonna just keep going, and then we'll start figuring out how we get the next studio
Yeah.
going.
And the
at some
next
point.
one
Say,
will
how
go
long
even
are you waiting?
smoother,
How long are you waiting from door open to or you're already there?
Yeah, no, I mean we're looking at locations. We're kind of getting ready to sign the next lease at some point.
Right.
So that's the other thing, being four of us. Some of us can be focused on what's happening in the current studio.
Yes.
Some of us
Right.
spending a little bit of time then looking a little bit more over the horizon to see what's coming next.
Right.
We're not sure yet. Maybe spring, maybe summer, something like that.
Mhm.
And the idea is, we're kind of building right down the spine of Route 35, right? So everything will be pretty accessible between all the
great.
locations.
love
So,
that.
yeah.
I'm just laughing. I'm going back to Steve Robinson. My friend Steve Robinson was a New Hampshire friend. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty. Sorry,
Yeah,
sidetrack.
it's not
Yeah.
the most, it's a pretty generic name.
It's a pretty generic
Yeah.
name, but still.
Yeah. There's another, in my day job, there is also another Steve Robinson, and he and I have learned a lot about each other through email.
Oh,
I
Is
bet.
that right?
I bet. Mhm.
I was like,
Oh, honey, I
yeah.
sent it to the wrong one. Yeah.
We
Mhm.
get that a lot. I'm
Mhm.
reading. I'm like, oh my, I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
What did I
wrong?
do?
And then I'm like, oh, they're looking for the other Steve
Oh,
Robinson.
that's
So-
funny.
And he forwards stuff to me all the time.
Oh, that's very
So I didn't want to ask you, but you brought it up because I'm always curious. It's almost a full-time job. trying to start a new business, but you
Yeah.
have a day job. So
Yes.
you are doing two big
Yes,
things.
most of us are.
Mhm.
All of us really are. I mean, whether it's kids or
Right.
you know, other and or the supposed corporate job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's working out. Do what I can at night and on weekends and off hours and figure it out. And again, with 4 of us, we're able to cover what we need to
Mhm.
cover.
So how interested, because we've had this before we started, we had long conversations about kids. Are your
Yeah.
kids interested in this at all?
They haven't really seemed to jump into it too much other than, can I get a t-shirt or
Right.
something?
Oh, yeah,
So,
okay. There's the things that are
so,
important.
yeah. So we'll see once we get going. My daughter has practiced yoga
Oh,
quite a
okay.
bit, so we'll see.
Wonderful.
We'll
Yeah.
see if she decides to come into the studio or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
They I don't know if they probably think we're all nuts, like what are our parents doing, because my youngest is really good friends with Tom and Tracy's twins that they have, boy and
Oh,
girl.
wonderful. Yeah.
And so that's how we all knew each other. So
Mhm.
I don't think any of them have that much interest at all actually in what we're doing. But
When
maybe
When they get
do. I don't
older,
know.
I was
they'll
gonna-
appreciate it
Maybe.
and understand it. Right
They're
now,
going to
it's
be
just-
surprised at how much they actually learned, I think.
Yeah,
from
maybe.
just overhearing conversations at dinner.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. Like, I think all of a sudden they'll be like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such I always feel like when you reach toward a dream or you have a goal or you share what's going on within a family dinner or whatever, your
Yep.
kids are like, do we have to talk about work?
Yeah.
What they learn and about themselves, about your family, about
Yeah.
you as a person, and then about the world.
Yeah.
They're sponges even still, and they take it in, and they would never let you know that
No,
until later.
they're really good at keeping it to themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
But I
So-
do say that. So I have a 25-year-old and an 18-year-old, and I will occasionally get the call going, so it was awesome because I could say this because I remember you talking about it.
Yeah.
Or I was able to answer an interview question saying my parents taught me because this is what they did.
Yeah.
So you're doing a good job.
You're
Yeah,
like,
well,
oh, they listened.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, look at that.
And I
Yeah.
think too, when they get older and out of college and whatever, right now they're so focused on themselves,
Yeah.
and when they start getting into business and all that, and they realize how difficult, running a business can be,
Yeah.
or starting a business or whatever,
Yeah.
they start to appreciate you a little bit
Yeah,
more.
and my kids might be a little immune to it because I ran my own consulting firm
Mhm.
for a few years. I started it from scratch, built
Yeah.
it from nothing. Same thing, had to hire and eventually find office space and keep your clients happy and
Sure.
keep your
Mhm.
business going and figure out the financing. So
So this may not be all that new to them,
Yeah,
but I
they-
wouldn't
Yeah.
say they're immune. I'm sure they're
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But we all have kids, right? It's like, how did school go today? Fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you have to pull some teeth sometimes. to
Yeah.
get-
And then
Yeah.
they start going, you're like, I didn't want to know that. Don't tell me
Yeah.
that. I didn't want to know that. Keep that to
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, I don't think any of us are expecting our kids to like get into the business or anything like that. It's just, this is for us. And, maybe later if they happen to like it too, that's
Doesn't
fine.
it
But
feel
this-
awesome to do something for yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, let's get real here. We're all professionals.
Yeah.
And there is some satisfaction about being good at what you do.
Yeah.
Doing something successfly.
And
And
doing something that you enjoy. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
that's so important.
Yeah.
It's, and you listen to my podcast. This is a third career for me.
Yeah.
So, it just kept plugging along, and now I love what I do.
yeah,
Yep.
So it's kind of feels good.
It's kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It's
No,
kinda
it's,
nice.
yeah. So we're getting super close. It's getting, finally it's hard to pause sometimes and celebrate, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
hey, we just got our lease signed. We should celebrate. No, there's too many things to do.
Right.
Keep going. Like, hey, we just had our 100th member sign up. We should celebrate. Oh, yeah, that's nice, but we got to keep,
Yeah.
So I think at some point the 4 of us do need to kind of sit back and celebrate where we are. And hopefully we'll get to do that in December
Yeah,
when we open.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the members, of course, are like, when do you open? When do you open? I'm like,
Right. We're working on it. We're working
Yeah.
as hard as we
I'm
can.
going as fast as I can. If
Yeah.
I
But
need
we're providing you all this stuff in the
Yeah,
meantime. So
right.
stick with
Yes.
us. We'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big thing. Like we once we figured out when we got approval with the town to be able to do the stuff in Manson Park,
Mhm.
and then working with Lennar over
Right,
in
right.
Tinton Falls, and they're letting us use their space, and now with some indoor options, it's good for us too, because we're starting to understand, like, well, what does it really mean to have, the ability to run a class and see what the student experience is all about. And we're doing the best we can to try to make it as if it was in our studio. So, there's a lot of little things about, how do you start the class? How do you get to know the students? We hand out, cool towels at the end of each session, and everyone can kind of cool down
sign me
a
up
little
for that
bit.
right there, because
so we're trying to do everything we can to let people get as close to the experience as they can. Obviously, we're super excited when the studio actually gets open, and it'll be a whole incremental, beneficial level on top of that. So,
well, I know I'm jazzed.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Tell you. Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah,
excited.
So I when in the podcast that you had, there was a suggestion you were going to start writing a book.
Oh,
was that really just passing comment?
People have been saying this to me for a long time, but no, I have not started. I'm kind of haven't had any time to do that, I guess. But I did just move. You mentioned Seagirt, so I just moved from Westfield down to Manasquan.
Yeah,
and it's funny though, the beach kind of just makes you feel a little more relaxed.
Yes.
And I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, this would be a great time, a great place to write a book, but we'll see. About everything I learned and all the things I did wrong, but could have done better.
But you did a lot
you
right.
may be doing the same thing.
Oh, we've definitely done a few things wrong, and we're doing a lot of things right. And it's less, you take the lumps and you figure it out and you move on.
I think if you've done it all right, you haven't done it right. Does that make sense?
I don't know if anyone has ever done that.
Right. Like if if you really get through that and go, oh yeah, I did everything perfectly, you're like, no, you didn't. Yeah. Like really get yourself under control, because nobody does. And if you don't do something wrong and learn from it, then what's the point if you're not growing?
Yeah. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And but hopefully it's a good one at the end, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I remember you saying you had to go through quite a lot of planning review and stuff on your end, right?
Yes.
Luckily we didn't have too intense.
It was more like about education and patience. I think I said this, I used to be teaching 7th grade, and I felt you had to have the same things as you do when you're teaching, which is basically, patience and a sense of humor when you're dealing with the planning and zoning councils and all that. And it was really about education. They didn't understand what self-storage was, or how, I needed 50 parking spaces. No, we don't need that, and we, it all worked out, and they have been wonderful too. Yeah. Same thing. The building department, love those guys. So
luckily we found an amazing woman to help us out, Christine Cafone, who's a local planner. And she was super helpful during our planning process. I mean, who would have thought you had to have like some plan around parking? Like I never, there's a whole bunch of parking spots. What's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
No, they want to know how it's all laid out.
Yeah, we had to bring in a traffic guy and a parking guy and all that. But it was okay. As I said,
we had to get some local. Yeah, we had to get some local support to help us through some of the variance stuff as well. But luckily there are a lot of great local service providers who are able to, attorneys and other groups that were able to help us through. Yeah,
once they're familiar with the town and familiar with what the town is looking at, that's when you hire those professionals, and they help you out
because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and once we did get in front of the town for the full variance approval and permitting and stuff. They were super supportive. I mean, it was not a hard conversation. Although it was funny that one of them brought up, so are you guys going to be doing goat yoga? And we're no, there'll be no live animals in the studio.
Goat yoga.
That's a whole nother
maybe Ming will have to start working on that. Ming said he's a big yogi and he's excited he's been, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he's actually been posting like all the Yoga6 stuff. He wants to make sure that everybody's following. Yeah. So maybe Ming's into the goat yoga and he can help you with one of your another one of your maybe other locations will bring in the goats.
We promised Shrewsbury that we wouldn't be doing the goat yoga.
Well, maybe when you go, if you go out toward Freehold a little bit more, it's a little bit more
you could partner with is there a goat farm out here somewhere? I don't know.
I'm not even going to look.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think, getting that approved might be an issue.
So, yeah, but things are moving along really well. And we're, and of the members that have already joined with us, a lot of them quite consistently have been coming to the classes Wednesdays and Saturdays, and they give us some feedback, and they ask questions like, well, I didn't ever, like, are you open on weekends? I'm like, well, yeah, like, it never would have occurred to me to have to proactively tell somebody we're going to be open on a weekend.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe not all yoga studios do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and there was a lot of questions around, are you going to have enough teachers? And the lucky answer is yes. We actually have, a lot of teachers, a whole roster of teachers lined up.
Yeah, wonderful.
So, we're doing everything we can to make sure everyone's going to have a really great experience with it. And, keep going. And I keep getting new applications for yoga instruction every week. I get 2 or 3 a week.
That's
so
great.
Yeah. So we just need a little bit of help with our front desk and wellness advisors and some studio management, sales support.
Yeah, we'll keep our
posted on the website.
Please go to our website, post it, and there's a couple of other jobs out there. So we're hoping that the more people that post, the more people will go look. And it's we have to. It's
Get
Field
going,
of Dreams. We have to, And one of the other things we do too is if you want to post your hot deals, which is your discount, that's available on there too.
Great.
You can go right there and post everything. So use our services to help promote yourself, because that's what it's that's what it's about, and we do our best to help promote you as well.
Good.
And
Fantastic.
So we're happy to have you as part of our chamber and our community. We love what you're doing with all the others and partnering, and if we could build, I think the very first time I did a podcast, I was with Michael Zapsik and Julia Zapsik. They're owners with me of Shared Universe. And Michael said when, and I'll never get it right, but he gets the quote, but it's when everybody comes together, when the waters rise, all
rising tides raise all boats.
That's it, Chris. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's like, that's kind of what we're trying to do. The more people that we can help promote, the more everybody grows and does better. And, it's just, it's what we can do. And, promoting any business and growth in this area is just beneficial to everybody.
Well, and once we get open and get past this first hurdle, hopefully you'll see us a little bit more at some of your events too. We've only been to a couple.
I don't know why you're slacking so much. I have to say, you did great. I mean, you were at the Christmas in July party. You and Tom and Anastasia. Anastasia was with us last night at the ENG, and honest to goodness, Anastasia was sitting with Tim Davis, our first vice chair, and I walk over to say something, and she's there with a pen and paper, all sorts of notes. So she's, whatever he was talking to her about, they were gathering information on how to, probably the job postings and the deals as well. I think I heard them talking about. So she may be on it already faster than you were.
I think we should do an EMACC event at their studio.
Oh, I think when the studio opens, I think definitely we're like,
I think that would be fun. Invite our members and our prospective members.
Yeah, we have room. We'll figure out what we can do either in the front retail area or in the studio itself.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is
to do a class would be
we'll do. Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
Because there are some members of our board that I would love to see in a yoga class.
Yeah. Get them to wear the tights, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know that we're going to go that far. And some of them we may not want to. So, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is we had enough space in the area to build a private training room as well. So anyone who's maybe wanting to do something on their own,
right?
They can hire one of our teachers to have a smaller private session in the private space. There's going to be different workshops that we're going to promote, around meditation or other things too. So there's like an extra little room that will be available for people who maybe want to use that as a way for their own personal training too.
One of the really good things that came from the pandemic, I think, things I'm seeing from people and hearing from people, is that the balance shifted in taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, enjoying life a little bit more and paying attention. So this awareness of mindfulness and mind and body and taking care of you.
Finding the time.
Yes. And making the time to do it, because people realize, I still got as much done and I was able to do this for myself.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to go away. I think and so what you're providing is so many opportunities for people to continue that.
Yeah.
So and do you find too that people working from home still, so therefore they can go to a yoga class, in the morning or maybe at lunchtime instead of a normal, lunch. They're like, I'm going to, because I see that around me, just people out bike riding
Oh,
or
yeah.
going to the
Yeah.
gym or whatever, they're taking
Yeah, I
that
mean,
time.
where I live, right, is a reasonably remote part of Northwest New Jersey,
Mhm.
and we live on top of a big hill, and all of a sudden when COVID really first hit, I mean, our street became like Grand Central Station. I'm like, all of a
Yes.
sudden there's like thousands of people walk up and down our
Yes,
street with their
yes.
dogs and everything, all that. I'm like, where'd all these people come
Yeah,
from, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I totally think you're right on that. I think people have been able to take a little more time to think about themselves. We get those questions too, like, well, what's your schedule going to be? I'm not sure going to have time. I'm like, well, are you making time for yourself
Mhm.
to take care of yourself anyway? Are you really going to set aside time to do things like yoga or fitness or or whatever other hobby or passion that you have,
anything
right?
to just
So I find it too, right? I'm working at home now. I've been sitting in the same room now for a year and a half, and you have to block out that time and kind of say, when are you going to do something for yourself or your family or whatever? Trying to get to my kids' sports events, things like that.
Right. Well, you can lie and say it's for your other job when you take a yoga class, because you can say, I'm researching for the company.
Yeah.
And there you go. You can
Yeah.
fit it into work both ways.
Yeah.
So we are at 10 o'clock. It has
Wow.
been a
Oh, wow.
lovely
Yeah.
Fast hour.
conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We look forward to seeing everybody on the 26th at Nissan City of Red Bank for our last membership month event. Our next guest is in 2 weeks. It is Mark Thompson from Messina Mimnaugh Wealth something. And I'm
Yep.
so good. Jill's going to shoot me. She'll be like, why didn't you write this stuff down? So anyway, that's
Great.
that's what we're going to do. We
Right.
love having you here. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And
So
Jane and I will
great
be
hearing, about Yoga6. We're very excited
Yeah.
for you to open.
Yeah.
And
And we have a bunch of events tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
So look us up on our
Definitely.
Instagram or
Mhm.
Facebook or the app on the phone. Classes will continue until we're fully open, and then
Great.
early December we're ready
party
to
at
go.
Yoga
Awesome. Yeah.
6. So,
Yeah.
all right, great. Well, thank you guys very
Thank
much.
you.
Everybody have a great
Sure.
weekend. Thanks for those of you who joined us on our podcast.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, guys.